The Boston Common was bought in 1634 by the Puritan colonists from a man named William Blackstone. It was originally used to train the militia and to feed the cattle. In 1756, Boston bought land for the Central Burying Ground to be used to help with the overcrowding of nearby cemeteries and for the soldiers who died at the Battle of Bunker Hill. Almost 15 years later, in 1768, Britain decided to pacify the colonists and British troops arrived on the Boston Harbor to make camp on the Boston Common. These troops would stay here for the next 8 years. Alongside the Boston Common is the Liberty Tree, which was the center of almost all the meetings of the Sons of Liberty. And right outside the Boston Common is the Boston Massacre / Crispus Attucks Monument, which remembers the victims of the Boston Massacre. The Boston Common was also home to many hangings, most of which happened on an old elm tree before it was replaced by gallows. The main reason you were executed was if people thought you were a witch or because of your political beliefs. During the 1800s, Boston Common had held anti-slavery meetings, gave away most of its iron fence for scrap metal, and the park's very own paths were designed by Frederick Olmsted to connect the Common to the public gardens of Boston. Then long after, in 1965, Martin Luther King led one of Boston's first freedom marches across Boston to the Boston Common. 4 years later, in 1969, over 100,000 people came to the Boston Common to protest over the Vietnam War. Over there is the previously mentioned Central Burying Ground, which contains the graves of soldiers who fought in the Battle of Bunker Hill. And over there is the Parkman Bandstand, which was built in 1912 and used for puppet shows until 1996, where it is now used for concerts, speeches, and rallies. Also on the Common is the Robert Gottschalk and 54th Regiment Memorial, which honors the first African-American volunteer unit in the Civil War. And alongside it is the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, right here, also known as Boston's most decorated memorial, which is dedicated to those who died fighting slavery in either the land or the sea. It also contains a plaque showing troops leaving and returning to and from the war. But perhaps the most famous part of the Common is the Frog Pond over there, also known as the Heart of the Common. It is the only remaining original pond on this Common and is open to the public year-round.